Okay, let's bring this meeting of the Falmouth Board of Health to order, January 27th, 2026. Would somebody like to read the mission statement for us?
Sure. Mission of the Falmouth Board of Health is to protect and promote the health, safety, and well-being of the residents and visitors of the town of Falmouth. Primary functions of the Board of Health to achieve our mission are to prevent and control disease, enforce state and local regulations, promulgate local regulations, identify and protect from environmental hazards, and advocate for a healthy community.
Thanks, George. And other than FCTV, the health agent, and the recording secretary, is anyone recording tonight? Okay. And a brief statement on rules of behavior. Thank you to the members of the public for attending this meeting. Public comments will be allowed at the discretion of the chair as time allows, and will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Before providing comments, please state your full name. All comments must be delivered in a manner that respects others. And does anyone on the board or in the audience have any comments on items not on the agenda tonight? Okay. Our first item is 54 Sam Turner Road, request to approve a tight tank for storage of urine for a urine diversion system.
So can I stand anywhere or just sit here?
You consider stand as you want. You're representing this one?
I am. Doug
Okay.
Brown, I'm a contractor.
Okay.
And this is a project that is a tear down and rebuild of an existing cottage that was there. We have, as you probably recall, the Level 5 system, which field is way up on the hill. And the residents, even though they could go with the regular Title 5 system, they really want to do the urine diverting because they're right on the pond. And even though the septic field is way up on the hill, they know it's eventually going to end up in the pond. So if they can do the urine diverting, they'd really like to. When we did the regular septic, we put in the tank right next to the septic tank. We weren't really sure what the final decision would be from the plumbing board or from this board. So we've got the tight tank right next to the septic tank. So if we need an overflow, we've got a knockout lined up with the tank that we can drill through and do that overflow. Should that be determined as the right call. The original sketch from the Richards Institute was to just have the tight tank with a monitoring float. But then the plumbing board on their first view of that sketch recommended they might want to consider the overflow to the septic tank. So I don't know if that's really their purview, but that made a change to the sketch that I submitted, which includes that.
Okay.
So that's the story. We've got the 4-inch pipe going in from the house and another 4-inch coming out because we overdid it on the speculative recommendation of the assistant plumbing inspector, saying that, you know, at least if you go 4-inch, you know, you're covered. And we also have a 4-inch coming from up on the garage. We would love to do a urine diverting toilet up there if we can. And we're set up right now for urine diverting toilet upstairs, downstairs, and a urinal in the first floor bath. But none of that really has been, we haven't gone any further. The house is framed up and it's ready. We get the rough plumbing as far as we can go until we make a decision on whether or not we're going to use this urine diverting or if it's just not going to be ready. I've applied for a variance from the plumbing board, but you might know that they need a recommendation or some kind of notification that you guys have been approved it or aware of it. Not exactly sure of what the requirements are. That meeting is the first Wednesday of next month, and I'm really not sure if I'm on that agenda because I wasn't sure what you guys were going to say today about this situation.
Go ahead, George.
We're in a kind of a funny position. Not funny, haha, but odd position.
Yeah.
First of all, tight tanks are an item in Title V with a lot of specific requirements, a lot of which would not be met with this particular system. Size of tank, alarming, all the accountability of where you're going to take the waste, how frequently it's going to get pumped, is it going to the right place, where you're going to take it, who's the contract with, those types of things go with tight tanks. But foremost, they're generally put as an item of last resort.
Right.
So if we're going to approve it, we got to rename it because it's not a tight tank.
Okay.
The overflow into the septic tank would, in my mind, be a tank in parallel, septic tanks in parallel, which are generally not allowed in the code, but they didn't have any specific reference in the new code to it. So I think our steps would be to, as a board, because quite frankly, we're sort of slapped around a little bit for letting people collect urine and bring it out to the test center.
By DEP?
Yeah, we would notify DEP of this particular thing and advocate for it, because as a precedent, really, it fits, there's a good analog with a composting toilet, because you're diverting liquid and solid away from your septic tank, and you're disposing them properly, and it's defined in the code how to dispose of it properly. So this, in my mind, would be very similar. You're diverting a portion of your waste aside, and you're going to treat it properly. So was there any idea of who would do the collection for the urine?
Well, we've been planning on asking Wasted to come and, service us as the, with their other part of the project. We were hoping to be involved in the pilot project, and we're not really sure what the status of that is right now, but if the people are going to have any chance of using their house this summer, they didn't get to use it last summer. So we had so much site work that we tore down the cottage during the season. And then, we're at a point where we're going to have to decide what we're going to do. So they might have to abandon this, that they've already invested the money in the tank. It was speculative.
I think piping to the tank from the house and the overflow, I think that could be done because it could be discontinued should DEP say, no, there's no way we're going to allow that kind of thing.
Right.
Because again, I would make the argument with DEP is what's the difference between that and a composting toilet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to have to handle the waste properly. You've already licensed Wasted to handle urine, so if they had a contract with Wasted to come down and get it, then it's no different than treating it properly as you would a composting toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think primarily we got to rename it off of tight tank because it's not tight if it's got an overflow to it.
Right.
Tight tanks
Probably what's
are, by
been
definition, tight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we could call it a storage tank, urine storage tank,
Yeah.
and approve it conditional upon us working through with DEP that this is part of a demonstration project if you're part of the one that Brian Horsley's working on out at the test center.
That's where I got the sketch from.
Yeah.
Scott, you had something?
Yeah, the word tight tank is just what I put down on the agenda, not thinking that, trying to fit it in some blocks in the terminology already being used in Title V, so.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
more
it's
what
called
I
urine
call it.
storage tank on
Yeah.
computers.
I mean, in a sense, it's just a temporary storage tank.
Yes.
If it's got an overflow to the septic, it's still all going
Not a
to
whole
the
lot of
septic.
difference in letting it mellow.
Yeah.
Your toilet for an exceptionally long time.
Yeah.
If we call it a urine composting toilet?
Well, I think you call it your storage tank. I mean, you're not going to get around it. As soon as you call it tight tank,
Yeah.
then you'd have to go through all the variances from the tight tank definition in Title V, so it's not worth doing that.
No.
I think the urine storage tank. And it's got an inflow, it's got an outflow, and you can divert it.
And it's vented back to the house and it's going to go up out through the roof.
Right.
We had a recommendation that we could vent it out into the yard, but the owner said, let's spend a little more
Yeah,
money.
you
to
might
do the
want to
piping.
vent it up to,
Thought that was better.
just having the experience of being around a lot of used urine.
You would know.
So,
Jeff
did
had some.
anybody
No,
have questions?
I think I really like the overflow. I think that's something that reduces the concern about alarming and storage volume and things like that. So
We probably would still use the alarm anyway. because
no, I mean-
We don't really want it to go in there.
Of course, not.
Right.
I mean, and I understand that but it means that the alarming is not as critical.
Secondary, yeah.
And, you could even have an alarm set at a different float level than
3/5,
you know,
which is called.
3/5 is called for, but yeah,
The other thing the board may or may not realize is we have some very similar we have black water tanks out in West Falmouth that collect all the black water, and the gray water goes somewhere else. And the black water is pumped out by a pumper at a certain level of tank. If that was never pumped out, it short circuits into the leach field, which is a fully compliant Title V leach field, much like this is. So if those were allowed, they really are the same thing.
right, that's like in parallel, right. And so, just for clarification, George, you said that tanks in parallel are typically not allowed, although I don't see anything in here that says, when I search Title V for the word parallel.
Correct, it
comes up
used to
with-
be in the code, as
Right.
I said, when the revisions came through, it was not referenced.
Okay.
So maybe you can't have tanks in parallel.
So why would this be in parallel if it's in
Well-
series, right?
Well, it's actually side by side. Yeah, you're right. It was
It's a series.
Series,
It's
it's
in
one to the
series.
next, yeah. Doug, did you
Yeah,
say
in the
it's
case.
a 4-inch line?
It is.
Oh, okay, it says 1.5 inch. Do you
Yeah,
mean from the
that's-
fixture to the?
We didn't have that back then. There was no sketches.
Oh, so you just built up
Yeah,
one.
we just went to the plumbing office and said, what do you guys think? And they were like,
Oh,
well, there's no code, so can't really tell you, but, so the plumbing inspector was reluctant to offer any suggestions, but the assistant said, I'd go 4 inch, and that way you know you're covered, no matter what happens. And then when we got the sketches, it makes more sense. So we'll reduce it as soon as we get into the house.
And you're proposing the interior storage tank?
No, it's in the yard right next to
Oh, the
the,
exterior, okay. So we just.
I have the site plan if you want.
Yeah, looks like there's several alternatives.
Right.
Yeah, this is the exterior.
It's a little circle that's right next to it. So Russ suggested that I wait because we all thought that this approval was going to be coming September, then October, and then each month we think it's coming next month. So he said, wait till you get everything in place and apply for everything at the same time. But that really hasn't panned out, so now we're trying to get the variance from the zoning board.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve the use of the urine storage tank, provided that we will check with DP Southeast Region through to see what the correct permitting sort of parlance should be.
Okay.
Second.
For
For discussion.
clarification, you approve the use of the design with as discussed, with an overflow, correct? Because we have a couple of different options here.
And it might not be permitted without it.
And I'll make some calls to DP Southeast Region, and I'm sure Scott will try to. It's kind of difficult sometimes getting through to them and getting something in writing, but an email. There's also interest in this out of Boston because we're going through Brian Horsley's going through that permitting process also, so we'll see what they feel about it. But we did get in a little trouble last time. We sort of ran ahead of the DEP.
And are his designs, what
These are
Mr.
good.
Horsley is talking with them about, do they have the overflow to the tank?
They will. We're approving the overflow.
And it is
This
on,
one, but
And
I'm,
there's no reason not to.
yeah,
I don't know.
I like it, it seems like something that could help the DEP say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
and that was the plumbing board's recommendation as well. That's why the sketch was revised.
Yeah.
It's a fail-safe. The only thing in the long term, and this goes way beyond where the town of Falmouth might want credit for these types of things, in order to get the super credit for it, I'm going to imagine that they're going to disallow the overflow and everything gets collected, so that's
Yeah.
documented.
Fine.
What if you put a flow meter on the overflow and could document zero flow?
Yeah,
Disconnect.
Good. Yeah.
well, you could do it a number of ways, like they do in tight tanks, really, the alarm comes up and it gets pumped out, or that's recorded.
Yeah.
But that's down the line, let's get this thing just moving.
Right.
Yeah, if that was
Any other-
overflow, I'd want
any
a
other
high
dis-
and a high.
Yeah.
on it.
Any other discussion? Anything from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion with the friendly amendment that we're specifying the design with the overflow? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Great job,
All right.
Doug.
Great, thank you, guys.
Good work.
Thank you.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Next item is 52 Main Street Flow Neutral Bylaw Referral. Applicant on town sewers seeking
Really cool.
Next to plumbing work.
seating in a food establishment.
Thank you.
Thanks. Go ahead, Scott.
I'm going to help the applicant out. So the applicant gave me a scale drawing, in which I showed a reserve area, an area that could fit, highlighted, hopefully you got the color, the hatched. There's clearly enough room to fit the increase from 12 to 45 seats if you had the design. Just to remind you about flow neutral bylaws, George's favorite, is that you're not going to decide whether they get the flow. Flow neutral bylaw is, you think of the sewer as a pie. It's a sliver of high left, who gets the sliver. Your role in this is to determine whether a Title V system could fit for the existing and proposed flow. All the other flow is really retail. There's not much in there. There's a bank and a jewelry store, a med spa that doesn't really do any things I can tell. There was an Xfinity, but that's been vacant, I guess.
They're taken, they're gonna be up and moving
So
soon,
that's
but they don't have public.
So it's well under 2,000 gallons now. So I just assumed a 2,000 gallon flow for existing. Their additional flow won't get anywhere near the 69, 26 gallons per day just in the front parking lot. So I thought, I would help her because there was a building permit submitted which I held up because of the flow neutral bylaw because it's over a 10% increase when you go from 12 seats to 45. And so she has to go through the process for the flow neutral bylaw. This is Devour, right? Restaurant. And so Devour needs a flow neutral bylaw referral, and that's why we're here tonight.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. Anything further?
I don't think so, but if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Anything from the board?
Scott, it met setbacks and there's room for the tank.
Yeah, so I got a scale drawing and I used the scale. Falmouth Engineering did the survey on it. And I just scaled in a rectangle with 10-foot offset as a slab. And I didn't even bother to use the north side of the lot on Kathy Lee Bates because I think we're quite there already. So
Yeah.
I think you could probably fit something around 10,000 gallons, pretty darn close to 10,000, the amount of real estate that's available. And the increase is only going, that's going to be more of a fast food. I would assume it's somewhere around 20 gallons per seat, so they would really only be going up. I have to do the math in front of everybody. How many seats? 45, so about 30 seats, less than 25 seats, times 20, so 450, a lot, 500 gallons. So this, you would be able to fit a system, and that's really all that the applicant needs to demonstrate for this portion of the flow neutral bylaw process. And the referral will be coming from Amy Lowell, the wastewater superintendent, and then there'll be a future select board hearing, and they'll take this referral and take Amy's referral and make a decision.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to forward to the selectmen an affirmation that this property could fit a Title V system for the flow proposed.
Second.
All right, anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jerry.
Good to see you. How's your seat?
You know, Diane, I've told you why it's there. Why it's
Oh, maybe not.
Thank you.
Would you like to know why? Because DEP considers what happens if they take away your well water discharge permit tomorrow.
Right.
Could a system fit? Because they think in terms of a permit, they might have to have you revert back to a septic system, which I've never heard of, and never would happen. But that's, I think, why they have this overflow into the
Right.
It's just misnamed, it's so neutral.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I figured it was something to do with using septic systems to limit growth.
Oh, it could be a great, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, because it would, I don't know.
Yeah, so
Again, you
couldn't
guys,
have-
again, I've asked if you want me to do these without worrying about coming to you. If you want to do that, that's up to you guys. If you want me to just handle that internally.
There really isn't any point. We do nothing with
As long
these.
as the math works, we don't
As long
have
as the
any.
math works.
I think I've asked.
Even if the math
Yeah.
doesn't work,
I mean,
All we can say is yes or no.
So if you want to take a vote on it at some point, I think.
At the end of the agenda, we can.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as a future agenda.
Yeah. Okay, next item is 173 Metoxit Road, IA septic system approval, assessed existing 4-bedroom home. Applicant seeks to install a 6-bedroom septic system using a Kleen-Tu NitROE 2KS system.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Mike Porcelli, Falmouth Engineering. I represent the applicant. This is my first application for IA under the new regulations
It's
that
exciting.
recently promulgated. I don't require any variances from Title V or your local health regulations. This is a raise and reconstruct, so it meets your definition of new construction. And your regulation says if there's new construction and you're in a nitrogen sensitive area, you need to provide an IA system. And it has to be reviewed and approved by this board. So the system before you is a traditional Title V system with a nitro in the flow train. It's a proposed 1,500 gallon tank from the house, then the wastewater flows to the nitro, and then the wastewater flows to a distribution box, then to a sewer absorption system that was sized for the number of bedrooms. It's all set back the requisite distance from the resources and property lines. Nitro is one of the listed best available technologies. And we of course expect there'll be the required testing protocol and operation and maintenance. And that decision will be recorded in the chain title. And I'm here to take questions.
Thank you. Anything from the board?
Just a note that it's also an increase in flow,
4-bedroom
4
to
to
6.
6. So under anybody's definition, it's new.
What do you think the direction of groundwater flow is from that SAS? Which direction are we looking towards water? Because it's in 2 directions, right?
Yeah, I would say that it's probably southwest to west towards Report Deck.
And all your distances are based on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm providing the SASs in excess of 100 feet from the top of the coastal bank, so it's more than 100 feet from mean high water.
a motion to approve the innovative alternative septic system requiring a discharge limit of 10 for 173 Metoxit finding that there were no other variance, Title V variances required. It's new construction in accordance with our regulations and with the standard set of conditions.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Anything from the public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item is 207 Coonamesset Circle, IA septic system approval. 3 bedrooms, seeking a 560 gallon per day system, serving a 9-room house.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mike Waselli, Falmouth Engineering. This is now my second application.
Are you gonna keep track of the year?
And you're the current record holder.
This property is located in a nitrogen-sensitive area as you define in map. This property is also within a zone 2 of the municipal law.
Okay.
The lot size is 45,000 square feet. The existing house has 3 bedrooms. The renovated house will have, by bedroom formula, 9 rooms, which by formula means 4 bedrooms, because 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, round down is 4. We reviewed the floor plans and room count with Scott, and we concurred on that. But we still decided, let's make it a 5-bedroom capacity, because it still can be, the site can still accept a 5-bedroom capacity. Because prior to the new nitrogen sensitive area maps, there was still a zone 2 requirement for only 4 bedrooms for 40,000 square feet.
Right.
In a zone 2, but if you did IA, it was 6 bedrooms for 40,000 square feet. We have 45,000 square feet and 5 bedrooms with IA, so.
41,000 square feet.
I'm sorry, 41, yes, we have more than 40,000, so in both, I think we're covered both ways. This again is a NitROE. It's a best available technology. There's no other variances required. The Coonamesset Pond is located a significant distance. I think that's, I don't have enough on my plan because I have a reduced copy. I think it's to the southeast or east of here. It's way over here, like 500 feet or more away to the pond. There's an old substandard septic system, 1,500 gallon tank and a leaching pit. Both will be pumped and the end will removed from the site. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. Anything from the board?
Motion to approve the use of the alternative septic, innovative alternative septic system for 207 Coonamesset Circle. Finding that all necessary setbacks are there for Title V, and that this is a required system for Zone 2 and a nitrogen-sensitive, Falmouth nitrogen-sensitive area.
I could just add to the finding that our health agent has reviewed the plans and found that it is 9 bedrooms. And that it's
9 rooms.
9 rooms, excuse me, and it meets that exception.
And also will be rechecked when the building permit submitted.
Oh, with a standard set of conditions, including 10 milligrams per liter at the limit.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we have to say 10 milligrams per liter anymore since it's always 10? Okay, all right,
Because their
one less thing we
permit,
have to do.
their
No, it's good
permit
to, it's good to remind everybody,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But
All right.
it's also good to remember that their permit from DEP says 11, and
Right.
that 10 is in excess of DEP's permit.
Right,
So you can stick with it. It's okay.
Thank you.
thank you. Next item is 46 Fox Lane, IA septic system approval, existing 3-bedroom home, seeking to install a 6-bedroom system using the Kleen-Tu NitROE advanced treatment system.
It's okay. So, Tim Santos from Merrill, 85 Brick Hill, they were asking for a continuance. The Amphidrome people couldn't make it. So I didn't know whether you wanted to, because this one's quite similar to the other two. If you had any questions, if you could do it without him, that'd be fine. If not, then we need to continue.
What's the NSA? It's
Fox Lane's in West Falmouth Harbor, I want to say. Or it could be in the 303D.
Are there any variances required?
Does not seem to. No. It's up to you. You can also continue it if you want that.
A motion to continue 46 Fox Lane.
Okay,
Second. Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed?
So we continue to a date certain, so that can bring up, if I may, for a second. The select board has requested on 2/9, which would be a next meeting on February 9th, to have a joint meeting with them. They generally meet a little bit later, so perhaps you'd want to meet here and move. It's up to you, or have nothing on the agenda, because when we continue it, I don't know if we're continuing it beyond the 9th.
We could cover some Board of Health specific items here before the meeting with the select board. I think that would simplify, because we don't want to be covering those things in a joint meeting.
Oh, yeah, or you would just not have anything but the joint meeting. I don't have a lot of
Correct.
information about the joint, but, so we'll have a regular meeting 5:30 and then head
Yeah.
over. Okay.
Yeah.
Head up or head all the way over to senior
It'll be
center?
all the way over. Up, yeah.
Up and up.
But we don't know what time they need us yet.
No, I'm waiting details. We're meeting here because the Tuesday nights, the planning board normally meets in the select board room, so that's
Right.
why they couldn't have Tuesday nights there. So we would be on the 9th back at the select board meeting room. The select board would be at their new dates over at the senior center. And, I
Is there
think we need to
another-
talk about it now because you continued a couple things, is perhaps where you want to float on the agenda. The select board usually has a lot of things in front of it, and usually you'd be somewhere around the 7 range or somewhere in there. But we just need to know, like if I talk to Mike tomorrow, say, look, we would like to have roughly a 1-hour meeting here between 5:30 and 6:30 and head over, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And in an hour, you could get these two continues.
Yes.
Let's
Is
do
there
that.
another
Yeah.
room at the senior
Yeah, I
center?
agree.
Well, I can look into that.
Yeah.
I will
That
look
would
at
be,
that's a good idea, and I'll ask. I think that
That
would be a
must
problem.
be
We did that,
Yeah, we did do that
a
upstairs.
year ago
Yeah,
upstairs,
yeah.
so I will do that.
Good idea.
And I'll have to check with our friends over at FCTV too.
could we get that in the minutes, that it was a good idea?
Okay.
When you
I'm
have
sure
an
it's
ad
there.
of one, you don't want it to be
Right,
missed.
right,
Well, that's what we did last time we had a joint meeting, so.
right.
That's why I'm a health agent and you were a retired anesthesiologist.
Or just this item here.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
little
Okay.
discussion about it.
All right, so we continue that to a date certain, being February 9th, right? Just so for the record. Next item is 85 Brick Kiln Rd. Continuance has been requested.
Move to continue.
Wait,
Okay. We can, for discussion,
oh,
Okay,
George wanted to talk that a little.
do we have a second for discussion?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay,
I just wanted to sort of provide some opportunity to guide the applicant in their presentation to us. It looks like there is an Amphidrome system proposed, and this is a pretty large development, 40 units, 62 bedrooms. And we don't have tremendously positive experience with the Amphidrome systems system in town, that being the one out at the campground. So I would at least, since they've expressed the desire for the continuance, to let them know that they should probably bring evidence that this system is, I say, properly engineered to handle this, because we were led to believe the first time out at the campground that it was properly engineered to handle the waste. And we ended up in really what amounted to a 2 to 3 year chase here. I would like not that to happen for residential development.
How many gallons capacity is the one at the campground?
It's just under 10, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's not dissimilar. So we might
Yeah,
also, I mean, it's big.
3,000
It's
gallon
big.
difference.
Yeah, 50, but we might also want to know that it's, you know, model 17 and not model 14.
Yeah.
That it's different in a substantive way, because if it's the same one, whether they say it's wonderful or not, we know it's not.
Well, I mean, I think this is an important point, but obviously the big problem that happened first at the campground was the improperly installed SAS, which had nothing to do with the Amphidrome. Once they had the Amphidrome with the plus unit installed, which took a long time to get in from the manufacturer, it is now, to our knowledge, it's performing extremely well. So it's not that it can't work, right?
It can work. I don't doubt that it can work, but it didn't work. So you have to look at either that was an operational thing, a misstep in the engineering part, because these systems aren't like going to a shelf and pulling this model down. These are sized by engineering principle, and that one was obviously a misstep. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have had to add the plus.
Right.
They anticipated not needing the plus. Well, the fact that they anticipated needing it means there was a misjudgment in the first call.
Right.
In a large subdivision like we're talking here, year-round, not just vacationers where you can say, okay, shut the door, please, like we did. You're not going to say, okay, everybody, let's move out for a while they fix it. We don't want that to happen. So I would like some evidence from past experience that the system works, that they have accommodation for alkalinity and carbon addition, things like that. And I don't know what that whole place is going to be. Is it going to be obviously one big parcel? So what's the legal instrument that ties them all together at the hip? Is it just like a condo? Is it, so those things, because otherwise the Board of Health is going to have to chase it down. And we don't want to do that.
So we want a single entity to be responsible.
Well, we want to know what the entity is, what the, for instance, you know, this is still under Title V because it's less than 10,000 gallons. So we want to know how frequently will there be somebody on site looking at it? Because that was a big thing before. It went by with less oversight than it needed. And I think some regular reporting. I mean, we're going to see these in sensitive watersheds. And our staff doesn't want to have to chase every time there's a bad reading down. We ought to be setting up, okay, when something comes out and you're not meeting the spec, this is what has to happen. If it doesn't, then there'll be fines that will follow, because really if there's a lot of these out there, if there's more than a half dozen out there, it's going to be tough to track.
And also, I think it was at the campground where there wasn't even a recording mechanism required to be kept on site at first, so the people going to inspect didn't have access to the records of what had recently been done. Wasn't that the place?
I can't remember whether
And
that
we
The
was,
flow
insisted that
system
they
was
had
not
a-
fully understood.
right.
That they,
Yeah.
that they had a written documentation that was available whenever somebody went there.
So we could require a plan for how, for reporting,
Yes.
Yeah.
for monitoring and reporting that's known ahead of time.
And if it's going to be a single system, don't we need it to be, not only know who the entity is, but that it be a single entity,
Yeah.
not 42 entities?
Well, there'll be an operator for it.
Right, but even
Yeah.
beyond that, the legally responsible party, we don't want to
Right.
have to chase down dozens of entities.
Right. I don't know what that's going to be there.
Yeah,
Whether it's
so,
going to be one.
and this is
bunch
a
of rentals or-
40B or whatever it is.
I don't know. Although, so,
Go ahead, Jen.
I think this discussion should probably properly be held in front of the applicant. We're going to talk about it.
well, all we're
So-
doing is guiding them that they come to the
Yeah, so they
meeting
come
prepared.
prepared.
Because otherwise, there'll be continuance on continuance.
Already done. We've already sent it to
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So we need to vote on the continuance.
Oh, did we, okay, yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks.
We'll see if he has another submission.
Next item is 81 Crystal Springs Ave, local upgrade approval request, existing three-bedroom home, seeking waivers.
Ken DeCosta, 73 Crystal Springs. I own this property too. Just looking to upgrade it and get the waivers. Get the shortage on, what is it, the offsets.
Okay.
This is in an NSA, correct?
It's in New Silver Beach.
Yeah.
It's actually, there's the sewer line is on Asset Street,
Not that far up.
but it's not sewer.
Correct. I was asking whether it was in a nitrogen-sensitive area. Okay, so what I didn't see on here was the blocking out of a IA system.
Yes.
So
Right.
it couldn't be sewage?
No, if I may, the sewer system there was a long legal battle over a decade, and it was limited to the number of homes that were really, really close to groundwater. The reason they did that was because there was a lot of homes that were within a foot of groundwater, 2 feet of groundwater. As they got up higher, they decided not to sewer because those people could fit a septic system. So septic is not available because they were very small, like finite size. So the answer would be no. And unfortunately, a lot of soils are lousy up there, so they make for a rather expensive small septic systems. But anyway, so the engineer is not from Orion, they're from Bridgewater, so they probably weren't aware of the IA requirements. But I think you could approve it with requiring the IA reserve area.
Are there any other issues?
It's close to groundwater, correct? I thought I remember, I don't have the plan with it, but it was 4 feet exactly to
Well,
groundwater.
no, they're on their plan, they say 4-foot minimum. I believe.
You did not observe groundwater.
The bottom of the system is at 27.5, and the observed groundwater, it says, is at 21.8.
Well, I'm looking at the perk log. Yeah, it shows that the depth of the perk, the topography was 31.8, so the top of the ground was 31.8. They didn't find groundwater down 10 feet, which would be 21.8 on the perk.
Where do we see
But then he
the-
says, but I think he's got stock language, George. It says 4 feet minimum groundwater
Okay,
table.
great. The
So
elevation
looking at his
check.
perk log and his topography being at the 30-31, groundwater was not found for 10 feet.
Okay.
But we certainly could do a deep hole if we wanted the second.
No, that's all. I just want to make sure that the system was installed that could accommodate an IA system. So sort of maybe a minimum drop between the D-box and the
Yeah,
leach
so-
field.
Yeah, and we most certainly, what we could do, what we do when we see this is we would say, at time of install, we'd like to see 5 feet below the field. 6 feet
Okay.
below the field. So we can verify at time of install as well.
Well, and
Good
then a notation on the plan where they could install a second tank.
We could have that done too as well.
Scott, do you know why they are putting it in the backyard instead of the front yard, where there's more space and the setbacks could be better?
You can ask the applicant, since this is a house.
Yeah, it was just better there. And out front near the street? Is that-
Yes.
Yeah, you got a water line and stuff there. It's not shown on the left side, midsection of the staircase.
Okay. You could sleeve, but,
Is
yeah,
it-
you just have better setbacks out front.
I could ask, is it a full basement in the existing dwelling?
Yes.
So you'd have a 20-foot setback in the front. So he may not have as much as we, because he's got to stay 20, whereas the back, he's putting a slab, he's got a slab. So he's
We
gonna-
still need 10 to a slab.
You'd have to have variances either way, I would think, kind of
Mhm.
eyeballing it, but maybe not.
Plus you have all the gas lines on the side there.
So I can't scale it because it's been shrunk down.
Oh, right, it's not to scale.
Yeah, it's not the scale, I gave you a 1 by 17.
No, that's fine.
Well, it's still scale if you change the aspect ratio, which is a different scale.
Yeah, it's definitely changed.
So what are the variances requested?
There is
Yeah, okay.
reduced 10-foot, so the lot line, 5 feet.
3 feet, foundation wall, 3 foot slab, 5 feet.
They're on the plan too.
Yeah, they're harder to read there.
I
though.
know. And just one deep text.
And then the other question is, do you have a butter notification codes?
Have you notified the abutters of the variance?
Yes, I'm building the house to the left, and I own the house behind this one.
So you are the butter.
So you are the abutter to this?
Yeah.
That's a rarity.
Are you sure you trust the other guy?
Changes often.
Right, so there'll be no butter notifications, and then part of this application, when they apply for a septic, we'll also have to notify the water department. We do that.
Yeah.
So DPW engineering would get notified of any lot line, because Waverly Street, just in case there's any utilities in there, so we have to notify them as well.
Yeah, it's gas.
So is there, it's hard to read, so just ask, is there like a poly barrier proposed for the basement, for the,
On that side of this, just a slab. That part
well,
of the
but you're
house.
also 3 feet from the foundation, right?
5.
That's just a tank.
Oh, it's just the
Just
tank,
the
you're
tank,
right,
that's
you're
what
right.
it is.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna want to change that tank to an H22. I can see that being driven over.
Yeah. Next to the driveway.
Okay.
So is this an addition, or it's just the change in the?
I think just replacing a cesspool.
It's a cesspool, so it's
So
replacing.
what's on the slab is already existing?
Yes.
That's it, okay, it's just replacing a cesspool with a, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a local upgrade approval.
Yes, all right.
There's nothing new going on. And also, even the plumbing does go out the back to the cesspool through a slab, which would be, I guess
Yeah.
you could abandon that and run it to the front.
Well, he's already showing new plumbing going out
That's
the
true.
side.
Yeah, you could do that, you could run it to the
Yeah,
side.
so then putting the tank on the side a little closer to the front would be okay,
Yeah.
but not a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
could.
additional plumbing.
A motion to approve the variances for 81 Crystal Springs Ave, finding that it's a small lot, provided that the applicant show before picking up the permit, the placement, the theoretical placement of an IA system in there should it ever be required, and with the standard set of conditions.
Weren't there other,
I just, for discussion, somebody second it.
Second
We
it.
can discuss all of it.
And an upgrade of the, add an upgrade of the plan to show the H20 loading. And do we care, how much do we care about a membrane to the slab?
Yeah, I don't think it
Care at all.
matters, because it's just, yeah.
Can we clarify what is that part of the water service? There's a little small dot on the front side. I was just trying to figure out what it is. WS.
Oh,
What's this, sorry,
Is that
What is
water
this?
service?
Water
WSO.
service. Disconnect, it might be a D.
no, it's not.
Okay, but there's no irrigation wells on the property or anything?
No.
Right above the T in Crystal.
Oh, that is the water gate valve, I would think.
It's usually really,
Yeah, it is.
Water service. That's what the water service is.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the clean plan. Shut
So you get what's been mentioned about a reserve area?
Excuse me?
You understand what's been mentioned about a reserve area?
Yep.
He's a frequent flyer, so you can call me if you have any questions, have your engineer.
Yeah, no worries. We'll do whatever we gotta do to make it right.
All right, so we have a motion and a friendly amendment to identify the H20 tank. And the health agent has indicated that the 5 feet of separation from the water table will be verified at installation. Anything else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. So we are back to IA system monitoring performance and data, otherwise known as the George Show.
Oh, well, the George Show, I forgot my graphs, but I know by heart what they are.
Okay.
I think what we heard from the county to the sub-program when we had that discussion, it was not clear to me what services we would be getting under the enhanced monitoring type service. All I did hear that it would cost $100 more, and I thought, well, you know, these are all public data. They can be mined. I mean, and I'm nobody special. Just got on the website and pulled these down and did a little jockeying around in a program. Not that program, but what I'd like to discuss tonight is we know we're going to have a lot of legacy systems. As we go forward with the NitROEs and the NitRECs and the Advantex, all abandoned systems, they're going to have requirements on them, and we'll be able to monitor those. But we have about, what, 300 or 400 legacy systems in town, and those systems, if we don't watch them, they're not going to work. So I tried to come up with a convenient way to watch them. And those graphs I sent out to you took me about 20 minutes to put together. They basically show you right away which systems aren't working with the addresses. There was some other things I did there. For instance, if a property had a TKN, a total killed nitrogen, more than 10, that to me is diagnostic of a system that just isn't nitrified. And there are only 3 reasons that could happen. Poison going into the system, so cleaner, lack of alkalinity, or too much water use. And we could have people chase one of those down, but I think I'd like some discussion from the board as how do you want to proceed? Do we call the operators before the board for this? do we simply send out a letter to them to see what the response would be? Because from this list here, you can see the bad players or the ones that are not operating. You can generate a list. And God bless technology in some regards, you can meld that list with a form letter saying, we understand your system is working. You should understand your system is working. We would like a report on how you're going to bring it back into compliance. I mean, that would be, of course, the simplest thing to do. The other thing, we've had people come before us when we've seen something like this. Let's take the lowest apples on the tree, which are on the right side of the graphs that I presented. They're all way above 19 milligrams per liter. There could be a good reason why they're there. We could compel them to go to our regulation, which our regulation states steps that they should take when they see data like these. We have not in the past enforced that terribly, but we have not had time to. So I think I just wanted to bring this up because this is one technology, and admittedly probably the one that has the most offenders only because it's the one that's most abundant. But where do we go with this to move the ball downfield toward compliance with these systems? Because as much as we have all these new ones going in, these legacies we're going to be living with, and we should get them operating the best they can.
How many operators are there?
Oh, probably about 8 operators.
Yeah.
I think that then, my opinion would be if there's only 8 of them, maybe get the 4 worst, at least, to come and talk to us and get them and let the other 4 know, or something similar.
Yeah.
Sort of use the soccer system, the last 3 in each division go down a division, and the top 3 in the division below go up a division every year.
I don't think it's as simple as that because there are some operators.
It may not be the operator, but
Correct.
it's, and the best case will be, George, is if those are terrific operators and it's something that's easy to fix and they fix it easily. If they're not good operators and we learn about it, and as we develop this database, we ought to, I think, use that information to say these operators are going to lose their right to be operators eventually if they're, if it's the same guy. But I think getting people in here to start with, since we're going to be new at this, although it'll take up some of our time at meetings, we'll probably get by far the most bang for the buck.
I wonder.
Retention.
I wonder, George, if there are things that we would like to discuss with all the operators, that not just ones where we've identified some specific problems, but it may be, we're headed into a new frontier here with more and more and more of these systems. The operators are key players in that. Seems like maybe we want to have a conversation with them, see if they can help us identify key or common problems, although you probably know most of them anyway, and start formulating plans going forward. Go ahead, Deb.
Well, I think there's 2 parts to this. One is that the homeowners are ultimately responsible for the operation of their systems. So I think, as George pointed out, a mail merge and a letter going out to the owners of these systems, reminding them of the various bits and pieces of paperwork that they signed, or that they, when they purchased a house, that they were required to be notified of, directing them to whatever remedial actions that can be taken, and at the same time, a letter to the operators pointing out that these systems that you are operators of record of are not operating properly. And so letting the operators know that we're paying attention to it, letting the homeowners know that we're paying attention to it. And since the homeowners are ultimately responsible, having the homeowners then say, look, you should be talking with your operators. There may be things, as you identified, there may be things that the household is doing incorrectly, that the operator has no control over, except by contacting the homeowners.
I mean, to me, that seems like it's definitely got to be part of what we do.
Right.
Right.
And then secondarily, at some point, scheduling, and I think it's a good point that some of these operators are doing a fabulous job on the same sort of system, and others are doing less well, on average. And so it seems to me that there could be a learning process that we could facilitate in some way.
Well, there wasn't as much, I mean, I looked at this statistically too across operators in compliance, and there's no clear statistically significant difference with operators, because some of them are operating systems that are doing great, and some of them not so great. So you have to start looking at another variable. Is it the homeowner's involvement? Is it water use? And I haven't chased that down yet, but that's the next thing. I mean, the first thing I would look at if my system was doing terrible nitrofying is no residence time. No residence time means darn water's going through there too fast, it's too much.
Leaking.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
again, they may get a report quarterly from their operator. Theoretically, they do, and they may go, oh, whatever. But if they get a letter from the town calling attention to the fact that we are paying attention to the fact that your system is not operating properly, I think people might start, and it's easier for the homeowner to get, should be easier for them to get their water readings and things like that.
I think a letter to homeowners and operators is the way to go. I think that just one that informs is good, but one that has some action that they need to follow up on and that we would like to see is another. So, I'm not sure how to, dear Mrs. Smith, dear Mr. Smith, your system does not appear to be operating. There may be one or two reasons for this, one or three reasons, blah, blah, blah. We would like you to have your operator follow up on this and report to the Board of Health how they're going to bring their system into compliance. Maybe that would be a way to do it and see what response we get.
And 2 meetings ago, didn't we decide, maybe too strong a word, that whenever there was going to be a measurement, that the entity doing the measurement was going to be required to get the water use information and attach it to the report?
Yeah.
Are we doing that now?
I don't know.
I mean, did we say we were going to do that? And
Yeah, we did talk about it because it is an important part of the
and
equation.
it's there. I mean, the information should be there. Can anybody buy so the water meters are radio transmission
Yes.
to a car driving by? Can anybody access them, or does it have to only be the water company? So could we require the people?
The short answer there is anybody could buy a $10,000 instrument to pick up that, get it programmed right, and read somebody's water meter. That's probably the long answer, because we do it in the area of in Barnstable West.
So would it be an unreasonable thing to require the monitoring companies to have one of those so that they can, or is it easy for them to get the information from the water company instead?
I believe it's a little bit excessive to require them to get one.
Okay, but to go back to something you said before, if there are only 8 operators, or if there are
8 or
only,
so.
say, call it 10,
Yeah,
whatever,
10.
having a meeting of this board with those 10 operators and say, look, you know, there are only X number of systems now. In 5 years, there's going to be 10X. And you people are going to be monitoring them. We'd like to get together with you and come up with good ways to implement the kind of things.
I like that, yeah. Yeah, and it's,
And certainly invite homeowners if they want to come, but if they're like 99% of people, they're probably going to say, you know, they're going to be like me when I come to these meetings. What's a TKA? What's a SA, whatever.
I mean,
the
they're always
distribution field is.
invited, but yeah, I like that, and
Just have a
it's
special
and it's a
meeting.
key statistic that you don't find a significant difference
Correlation
between
of-
operators.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be a difference, maybe hard to detect by the statistics, but that's an important feature. It means that, yeah, that it could be the system, it could be a installation error, it could be some of these other
I mean, how many
problems.
things are under the homeowner's control? Water
Everything
usage,
that goes into it.
Water usage
Yeah.
and stuff they put down into the
Meters.
system.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Shutting
shutting them off.
like the electricity, you mean?
turning
Yeah,
off the power to it.
It's on its
yeah.
own breaker.
Oh,
I mean, the other benefit of having the operators come would be possibly some synergy and idea sharing.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I mean, yeah.
They'll know why they're having problems.
Right,
Yeah.
and that might generate some helpful discussion.
is there any kind of an alarm to tell them if
Yes, that's.
that circuit is tripped? I mean, if it ever got tripped, would it just sit off for years, or?
Well, in theory, until the next inspection.
right before the next inspection, some of them will turn it on.
Don't they alarm
And-
if they lose power?
And another thing too is, I don't know if everybody knows everything about every system. So like fast units, one of the keys that I learned recently is that you need to pump them more often because they produce more
Yeah.
sludge. Well, we might have 4 of our operators that know that and 5 of our operators that don't know that.
Right.
Yeah, so that sharing.
So they're not certified, stop being a pilot, you're certified for a Cessna, but not a F-14.
They're
Correct.
general- yeah, they're
Everyone
generalists.
has a
Is-
certification, every
They do.
technology has a certification for it, that you've been approved by the company to be able to service.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but
so
what does
it-
that mean though? Like, I guess, you're right, we don't know to what
Okay.
extent. Yeah.
But the company would have an incentive to do a good job of training them.
Right, because they look bad if their
Yeah.
systems don't perform.
Should we add them to this meeting we're thinking about?
The companies? How many companies we're talking about?
Are you talking about national companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
technologies.
you get BioClear up here because they're in the Bedford. Vast is in Missouri, Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
Clean is,
Orenco's in Oregon.
Yeah.
Anybody in Hawaii?
Hawaii's had its problems getting anybody. But I think maybe a letter to the operators, inviting them to a meeting. It's gonna be tough to get them here because, you know, some of these operators, like, they're way off Cape. They come down here and do 20 systems in a day. And some of them are, there's one over on the island.
But if we give them enough, so we could, if there's 10 of them, it's not like we have to say, it's going to be on March 13th at 4 o'clock in this location, and that's all there is to it. We could actually have a back and forth about, can we find a good time and a good place that suits us and the majority of them? No, we won't get everybody, but
Sometimes we've done remote meetings too.
You know, I think having a, if you could, a Zoom, they would say, oh yeah, okay, I don't have to drive down to the Cape
oh,
on
that's
a
actually
Monday
a good
night.
point.
Yes, you can, because conservation, I believe, is still doing Zoom.
Yeah, so we can do, that could be good. But we have to formulate
we have to know what we want.
what exactly we
Yeah.
want to accomplish in this meeting.
I think we want to get a broad idea of what they feel is the problem with their systems, that they all know that not working. And I think we'll hear a lot about how owners are not cooperating, and that, you know, with fast units, I know that a number of them have said your tank needs to be pumped, and they just don't pump it. They just won't pump it. And so then it goes south, and it stays south. And they say, big deal, nobody's chasing me down.
Well, should we require any time the maintenance contract folks send a letter to the owners that they should be doing something, that we get a copy?
It's recorded already at the county's system when somebody is, when they get a report, they say, we told the people to pump their tank. Now, whether they did or not, they'll see it the next time, told the person to pump their tank, hasn't been pumped yet.
But when they get pumped, isn't there a public record of that?
Yeah, if they
So
go to
if-
Falmouth,
if we- so if-
sure.
So, all right, so there's some place where the information gets sent to the county. That doesn't help us unless we know how to look at it and we actually do look at it. If they sent it to us, we wouldn't have to periodically go to the county and ask and decide how often to do that, especially if they're doing 20 at once.
Right. I think the chasing letters down like that, chasing correspondence down like that, we haven't got time.
No, so we require them to send it to us.
I know, but then somebody has to, then he gets inundated with this. It's actually easier if they're sending it to the county, it's easier to query the county.
Yeah, and say, how many times operators
Yeah.
say this and somebody doesn't do
Yeah,
it?
if you get two in a row, then all right, 2 quarters in a row, then it's not been done. And then
so-
But see, this is things we could talk to the operators about. We'd say, look, when somebody doesn't do it 2 times, 3 times in a row, let this happen. Let it notify the Board of Health, and we'll call them in and say, hey, look,
Right.
your operator told you to do this. Your system's not working well. We don't want to have to chase it. You want to
Right.
bring them to us.
Yeah,
It'd be helpful
that's-
to meet with the operators, I think, before we draft the letter to homeowners.
Yes.
Because then we can put very specific recurring problems in there and let them know, if you don't do this 2 times, your operator will inform us and we will bring you
Yeah.
on board.
So I think a meeting with the operators would be good to have, a Zoom meeting, so you're not requiring them to come down here in the night to do it. Because they would, even after hours, do it, but they're not going to drive down here. I mean, the one in Rockland, there's 3 off Cape, and they service the majority of systems down here. WTS is one of them. You know, there's another one that's pretty popular in Cape, of course, you got, yeah,
So we could do
Visionary.
it in person on a Friday afternoon in August.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
which is right when those guys' busiest times are.
And it would take them 4 or 5 hours to get over the
Yeah.
bridge.
Right.
So maybe a letter to, I can draft a letter to the operators telling them sort of, Falmouth is going to start looking at their legacy systems that are there, as well as new ones, and try to get all of them operating to their optimal. We need some input from you guys. We need to know what the major problems are. I can send them some data. I have sent manufacturers data before. I said, look, these aren't our data, these are your data, and if they aren't looking good, you know, we put it up on a public website because it's public information. It doesn't look good. So I think a letter to the operators and finding out sort of in broad terms their availability. You know, or evening meeting, would an evening meeting on Monday or evening meeting on some evening be better? Zoom meeting with, say, Zoom or personal, your preference, because they may want to be here. I think
Let's try to schedule it during our regular meeting.
yeah,
Yeah, and if they don't get we can ask them to let us know if that doesn't work for them, and we'll try to figure out.
But we should put it first on the agenda
Yeah.
so that they don't have to guess when to be here.
Right.
And they don't have to sit through it.
How would that work, Scott, with our new arrangement of working up in the selectmen's area? Would that,
You talking about doing a hybrid?
yeah,
I don't know if we've done, during COVID, it was one or the other. There was no hybrid option. The technology didn't work internally for us to have it as a hybrid. We didn't have the tech. Now, that could be different. This was, during COVID, you chose, well, everybody went remote. And then as we slowly got into 2021, 2022, conservation stayed remote. We went in person, but none of them were, I believe, hybrid.
It should work though.
It should.
You just need, a
I'd have to check with
computer that's
IT and check
projected
with
onto
others
the
whether we can have a hybrid meeting, I don't know.
screen, and it has everyone who's on Zoom on it. Plus the
Okay.
box.
I'll draft a letter to the operators, and Scott, if you could find out about
Yeah, I'll have to check.
whether we could hold some sort of remote meeting, and I'll continue to look at these data. Are there any questions, by the way, in the graphs or anything? And I did go a little bit overboard.
We just have this one, right?
No, there's,
Trying to, yeah, there's a packet of them.
I only got one.
George,
so George, is it the dash reds oval is the out of compliance?
Yes,
out of compliance and elevated TKM,
those and
It got attached to dear board members.
almost all.
Oh, it did, okay.
But George, what's the difference? So this is all months, then you've got cold months, then you've got warm.
Oh, yeah.
But then we go back to all months again.
Okay, the only thing I was looking at was of systems that had more than 10 samples, I could figure out whether they're warm month or cold month, and I wanted the graphs separately to see, is there a huge difference in there? Is the difference mainly in TKM? There's just a different way, and like I said, I got carried away, should have sent it, but
So
I've
the
been-
first three had more than 10 sampling events?
yes.
Okay. And then
Over a period of,
events,
I think I
Whatever.
put the years on there.
and then the next, you've got
well,
all
it's the
months.
permit number is the
Yeah.
x-axis, not time.
Right.
And so,
So like this one, all months versus this one, all months.
Right, and one of them there was more than 10 samples.
Well, that's the first three you said, right? The first three are the more than 10 samples?
No, the ones with the more are all samples.
This is
Anything, I
all.
think, over 4,
Okay, over 4 samples.
because otherwise it isn't worth doing a box stack.
Okay, all right, and then we get down here and we're over 10.
Yeah, if you have
events.
a cold versus,
we're still,
But we still have
So cold matters,
one more.
but it's not, but those same systems still have
There you go.
problems. Yeah.
He's saying.
and that was the idea. They had cold, but they,
Well, no, not that. It's
They didn't have more
more than
than
10
10
sampling
samples,
events
just
went into the
temperature.
data.
okay.
Okay, but then what's this one? So this is more than 10. Like I just couldn't tell, because it's like
All
all
months.
months, and this one's also all months, but there's more pieces of data on it.
okay, then I dropped it down to less samples on the
Okay,
box.
and then this is samples more than 8.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Where did you
This
see-
one is
Oh,
labeled.
the label,
There, I
okay.
finally was like, okay, I got it on this.
See, I told you, you're so carried away.
Not with the labeling of things, though.
Yeah.
Not carried away with the labeling.
This is less than 10.
Okay, so,
Or
Some of them, if they have a number of them, it tells you how many samples
yeah, a
were
lot of them
that.
just have dots.
I just took the gist of it.
It was
And
like,
That's
what's
just the way
happening
The gist
here?
is that there is a difference between the cold and the warm, but it's in
if they have a problem in the cold, they still have a problem in the warm.
Yeah. But
Right, but there's a lot more.
some have no problem when it's warm, and they
Right.
start ranging up if they're in the cold.
So once again, I move that from November to March, we increase the mean Falmouth temperature by 15 degrees.
It's coming, it's coming.
So,
Just be
George,
patient.
are you gonna look for feedback from anyone on the board with the letter, or you just want, you got it?
I think I got it.
Okay.
It's just basically going to say Falmouth Courthouse is going to be scrutinizing a little bit better the data that comes out of these. We'd like to meet with you to discuss the problems that you have
And how we can
as
work
you maintain
together
them, how we can work together.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
with the
And
homeowners.
some comment on looking forward.
Yeah.
Like, we want to handle these legacy systems because there's
Yeah.
a significant number of them, but we also want to talk about what's coming.
And how many are there? What's the end of?
320 something.
Would it be worth relatively sort of maybe, but just, I'll bet at least half of the homeowners have no idea what the rules are.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe 95%.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
You know, a lot
I
of them
think-
are pretty old.
I think one thing as we meet with the operators is we should go for a regulation which
Yeah.
says, because it really requires them when they are in non-compliance to notify the board. And we've never really enforced that. We put that in thinking that, you know, as we move forward, we want to get a better handle on things. But it also gives them a roadmap when they have a poor performing system. And they say, no, this darn thing is just working the best it can to prove that. And the roadmap is there, you know, get the water use, interview the people in the house for use of things, get the occupancy, figure out whether it's just hydraulically overloaded or the technology just, you know, that dog won't hunt, take it home, kind of thing.
So it would be worth telling them that we'd like to inform them of significant updates to our local regulations
Yes.
as well in the letter. Another justification
Yep.
for coming.
And
Updates that affect your,
Responsibility.
in the last year, how many times has an operator notified us of a problem?
they have,
That's what I thought. So,
Or a
there-
homeowner.
or
So,
anybody.
so to defend them, no town, I think, is really holding
Yeah.
past systems. You started before your time. We started when Mallory was here, that we were starting to pick the ones that were like grotesquely over, like, you know, 700 decans.
yeah,
100, you know, whatever it was, 80. There's one that's 80 in there, right?
yeah.
So we were going after them and bringing them. We currently go after those that don't keep an operation maintenance contract. We do that now. We'll send a letter out. to the
Homeowners.
county. Yes.
So we know that if they're, have a.
Yes.
The county will notify us, and then we send an enforcement letter. So that's, and if they ignore that, they'll come in front of you, and that's
And is
fine.
Mallory a former member of this board?
Sorry,
A
Mal-
technology?
No, sorry. Mallory used to be the assistant agent, so she was doing that thing. Sorry, I was gonna say that. So we do have a new assistant that started, David, that started in December, so, you know, we can get more into the depths, and he's really good with Title V. All right, so he did Title V for another municipality, so, you know, we can certainly get into the weeds a bit more and get into what we'd like to get into, the details, so,
I think we just,
but no, we've never been notified.
how slowly or quickly do you want to jump into the water? Because if you look at those data, there are a lot of systems out of compliance. In fact, I'd probably say more than half are out of compliance.
And these are all system types.
Yeah, no, this is just fast.
This is only fast.
Everything on here is only fast?
More fast than anything else.
Anything else,
Yeah.
correct.
And they're the oldest one, that's why there's more of them?
They were
They were
the
the first ones to get their general use approval.
and
They're
kind of
simple to
lower
put in
costs,
and
right?
they low
Yes,
cost.
they're lowest cost,
But
maybe a high operating cost,
Yeah,
but
they use a
lower
lot of
upfront
electricity.
capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Uh,
developers like to.
But, you know, we have Singular, we have BioClears, we have sand filters out
Omni
there.
systems.
So in terms of how quickly to jump into the water, what comes to mind is let's do the zone 2s first,
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
It'll be a subset. They're more important than any of the other ones. start having, if, depending on what happens in the meeting with the operators, if we come out of that thinking, okay, now we're gonna start calling before us certain homeowners, or we're just gonna start analyzing their data and informing them, whatever it is, we should start with those.
I think we'll hear a whole range of stories of why these systems aren't working. You'll hear some operators with opinions that they could never work. I think any system can work if you operate it properly. It's just a matter of how much time you want to spend operating it. And homeowners are averse to spending a lot of money and not getting a result. And the operators are just doing their job. They're just going there. Some of them are poor operators. They don't know. I mean, if I saw those TKN numbers, I mean, it's so fundamental. I would have said, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
You know, get some baking soda, dump it down there once a month, you know, dump a box down there.
Yeah.
But some of them don't understand that.
Yeah.
So how did they get certified?
They pass a test. They
Given
study and
by-
they pass a test by the state. State classifies the operators all the way up to, I think, 8, you know, class 8. But class 4, you have to be at least a grade 4 to operate a denitrifying system in the Commonwealth, grade 4. But I passed my exam years ago, and I come from a fisheries background. Studied the book, and I passed it. And then, of course, had to learn more about septic systems, so I did. And now I know about septic systems, particularly alternative septic systems. But it's like anything else. There are people who really know the art, and there's people who just do I took the sample, what else do you want from me? You know, and we have to slowly change that culture if we're gonna have a bunch of these in the town. You're gonna have to have people say, oh yeah, darn, somebody shut the air off there, or that meter wasn't working. The nice thing about the NitROE system is you got one thing, and it's reported electronically to the operator if that air pump goes below a certain pressure. That's kind of nice, you know, and when you go to service a unit, you check in 2 air pressures, 3 air pressures, and looking at the tank and advising the owner to pump it or not. But that's the same as any other septic tank. There's no recycle back to it yet. I think they will eventually get to that.
Would there be any reason, a higher level of operator, so a 7 as opposed to a 4, is that usefully important, or is it just different kinds of systems?
Large municipal systems operate on the same principles. They just do it in different scale.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you start dropping down to an on-site scale, you have such variability in what can go in there. When you're sitting up in a big municipal
It's
plant,
an average.
that
Yeah.
is not gonna change in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, 4 flushes and 2 wash loads change things significantly. Or somebody comes home from vacation and does 6 wash loads. You know, there's just such a variety, so they have to really understand their client, the system, and some are forgiving, and the technologies are forgiving, and some aren't.
Aren't ones the forgiving ones? Or that is there any correlation, and by limiting ourselves to banner, whatever?
Yeah.
Are those, it could be that it's in theory a better system, but it actually operationally doesn't do better because.
I think,
Well, I'm not saying that, as you know, clueless on this. So
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, they do tend to perform well, so.
Okay.
as
Must
an
not be that
opinion,
bad.
I think that somehow the simplest system out there is climb to the top. Operationally, it's nothing. It's an air pump. It's an air pump with pressure gauge, which reports automatically what the pressure is. And if you can make it that simple, I mean, there will be some passive systems that come along, I'm sure. But right now, that one seems to be the simplest.
All right, thanks for that, George. We should move
Hold
on
on.
to our next item, which is freshwater pond quality. Continued discussion of cyanobacteria in freshwater bodies from 1/5/2026, including a draft letter voted to be written on 1/5.
This is a very nice letter, by the way. Agreed.
Yes, yeah. You wrote it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't me.
Now, that's why I didn't say, yeah. Great
I
letter.
just wanted to be clear, it wasn't me. Yeah, it's a good letter. I have a suggestion for the end of the introductory sentence. One of the important things we did was make a determination in the board that this is a public health issue,
Okay,
and therefore we're obligated to address it. Otherwise, very good, and we have our joint meeting coming up, so it'd be good to get it to them for that, so they have time to absorb it. No guarantee, I guess, that it'll make it onto their agenda between now and then, unless we want to send it directly to board members by email.
I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, make sure they've seen it before our joint meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
A question about a semi-related letter in that it was supposed to go to the select board. The one about fairness of cost distribution. Did we ever get a response? When you and I discussed it, it was going to be signed by everyone. As far as I know, it wasn't, at least not by me. But if we never got a response.
I don't remember discussing that, but I have not resent that letter because I was informed that that was the reason. That letter was the first topic that was mentioned in their desire to have a joint meeting, was to talk to us about the content of that letter. So evidently they got it.
All right, fair enough.
So I didn't resend it, but
Okay.
you know, I don't know. I guess it's possible that what they got was the Water Quality Management Committee's letter that referenced our letter. That occurred to me more recently. But
But if they want to talk to us about it, then that's all we need.
So can we
Yeah.
submit it as materials for that meeting? So
Good
it's in
idea.
their packet?
good idea.
Yeah.
We could have everyone sign it. But how do we
We're
do
all
that?
showing up at the first
Right. The way I signed it was on behalf of,
Okay.
Chair, on behalf of the Board of Health.
Happy to sign it too.
No, I
But
signed
I think-
something else not long ago. I don't know. Maybe it was plastic. No, it was something.
The new septic reg.
Yeah, septic regulations we have to sign, yeah. George, are you gonna, you're gonna do the same? You'll say on behalf of the Board of Health, when you send this letter,
Yes,
you'll send it to each of the select board members, yeah.
And pretend you're a foreign diplomat talking to Trump. You want to butter him up to get him to come and give them all a peace prize from
All right.
soccer.
so could I clarify that we actually made a motion that was unanimously approved that determined cyanobacteria as a public health issue?
We did not.
Not cyanobacteria.
We didn't make a motion that I recall. In our first conversation, we didn't, when
No, this was the only, sending the letter was the only motion
Sending
that
the letter,
was made.
Agreed as a board.
agreed as a board. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
The
good.
protection of freshwater quality was part of our mission.
Yeah.
public health issue.
It's a public health
Yeah.
issue.
Limited to
Yeah.
cyanobacteria, because red tide is not cyanobacteria.
I know, but it's, no, but you're not going to get red tides in the freshwater.
Right, but I'm just wondering if there's,
We could say harmful algal blooms.
yeah.
I like that better.
It's a well-known, I mean, it's, whether we think it is or not, it's a big public health issue.
I mean, It's not just the occurrence of harmful algal blooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get that, George? Instead of cyanobacteria, maybe. Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's, I mean, in this case, we're talking about fresh water, but fresh salt, it's, I mean, it's a big deal.
Freshwater pond.
Yeah, but here,
And specifically.
I think we want to keep this.
oh, I'm not saying we should change that.
Sorry, George.
Freshwater ponds and specifically harmful algae blooms are public health.
Are a well-documented public health issue or something like that.
I mean,
I'll put a public health issue that the board needs to address.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything from members of the public? on this
No, I would
topic?
just, this is Kim Comart from the Falmouth Pond Coalition. I think this is terrific. Thank you very much. And when the letter is finalized, if we could get a copy of it and
Sure.
circulate it, would be great.
Yeah.
well, we should finalize it now.
Yeah.
So we can send it.
Well, I think we
Yeah,
just
he's
did. It's got notes on that.
sentence
It's,
and-
It's
he'll
the
wrap it up
first,
in the
it's the
next-
first paragraph.
Yeah,
Right.
last sentence.
You want to read it to us, what you've got? 'Cause, or you haven't yet actually,
I would if I brought it with me, but
okay.
I mean, he's talking about the
But
new
what
sentence.
we just
Oh,
right.
modified.
Yeah.
well, I'm not sure exactly. The thoughts were that the board agreed that freshwater pond health and including harmful algae blooms are public health concerns that we must address.
There you go.
Okay.
That's good.
Good.
So that will be
Yeah.
it. And we'll go right up front.
Do we need a move to approve or anything?
Did we, okay. We made a motion to write
generate
it?
the letter,
Right.
to draft the
Okay.
letter.
I will motion to send this letter as amended
Yeah.
to the Board of Select, to the Select Board.
So that it's available for our joint meeting with
I
them.
must love all the mail they get from us.
They never used to get any, now recently
I
they
get a
do.
lot of mail.
Yeah. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Third.
Amy seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
Great job. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, everyone. So, discussion, Falmouth Water Department drinking water notice for
Oh,
Ellen, you asked.
that was me.
Okay.
And really, all I wanted to do was make sure when we talked to the drinking water superintendent, that one of the things we talk about with him is communicating with the public, because this particular notice about lead in your service line went out 2 years ago, has a very scary lead, especially if you have kids. I don't know how many people responded to it. As chance would have it, I did. If they can't keep track of who responded and who didn't respond already, and say, we're only going to send this second notice of a scary letter to people who didn't respond the first time, and make it a little less, we need to talk to them about their public communication.
Well, hold on.
Fine, and this was probably required by the
The
EPA
language
or
was, the
something.
language was probably even.
Oh, I absolutely agree, it probably was, but there could be a cover letter to the letter, but also, if somebody's already responded,
Yeah.
surely you don't have to. And the other thing about this letter that makes me crazy is there might be two portions of your service line, one of which we own, and we're not going to talk about, and we're not going to tell you about it, but it would be just as bad if that was lead, and you have no way of figuring it out from all of the instructions in this letter.
Well-
You can only figure out the one that's coming into your house.
Well, our water at the street in multiple various spots throughout town is tested weekly.
But this,
This is sewer.
I don't know that it, no, this is not sewer. This is
No,
drinking
I
water.
say sewer. I said this assumes, what this is basically saying, from what I remember. It's been a couple of years. It's
Well,
not-
I'm telling you
Just a
what,
second, let them finish.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is the water's tested to your house. And this letter is basically saying, we have an inventory of homes that we have no idea during the age of the house that you may or may not have lead. We have people that come every week and grab bottles from us to have their water tested for lead to see if it's in their house.
Yeah.
But what's coming to the house from the spigot is generally already tested at the street level, before the street. For example, you live in North Falmouth, they're testing, the site they test is the North Falmouth Fire Station.
I understand that.
Yeah.
The service line's.
But the service line is owned, is underground, is on the property.
That's owned by the homeowner.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
for the portion of the service line
Yeah.
that goes from the water main in the street to the property line,
Is the
in
town.
this letter, is owned by the town.
Yes.
And this letter says, we don't know about that piece either.
No, they would not, right. They would definitely not know.
And so if they don't know about that piece, and they ask the homeowner to figure it out, the homeowner has no way of doing that without digging it out.
Well, you can do the test first,
No,
right?
hold on.
Okay.
They ask you to take a picture of of the part in your house. And they say, oh, that was copper. I don't know if they record this response, by the way. They did it as a text message, which is with the only confirmation being, yeah, George, it's copper, literally. That was the entire communication I got back when I followed their instructions. All I'm saying is this is a terrible system, and we ought to include it in the things we want to talk to the head of the drinking water supply thing about, please.
Okay, I don't know that it's a terrible system,
Well,
so I wouldn't
it's-
want to
Well, but
accuse them of
it's
having
not
a terrible
implemented
system
well.
when they come.
But it would be good for the Board of Health to have feedback from the consultant or from the water department
The data.
because you're right, this is just stuff going to a consultant, and we don't know the status, whether the water department has said, there are still 7,000 houses, I'm making a random number, that we don't know. Or there are X number of houses that have lead that we know.
Right. And
We don't know that number, and we don't know necessarily, the town in general doesn't know that number. I was just on the water department website.
yeah, and also, part of the service line, nobody's talking about sorting it out even. And it's
We don't
very
know.
explicit that there are two parts of the service line.
Right.
Town-owned bit, homeowner-owned bit. This sorts out, or at least gives you information where you have a chance of sorting it out.
Yeah,
The other part-
we should keep in mind, though, it's an important topic, and we should talk with them about it, and we should let them know we want to learn more about lead pipes
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
the health impacts might be. Because there might be a whole lot more that they know or that they're doing that we don't know about.
We just don't know that, that's all.
Right.
That the homeowner doesn't know about through this letter.
Yeah,
Right?
and we do know that they sent this out regardless of whether you responded or not. And you respond to them, not to a consultant, Jeff. The directions I got from them when I responded to the notice was send it to what's the assistant water guy's name? Oh, no, sorry, never mind, it was,
And so this went out based on the age of the house?
no, I think this went out to every single household as required by the federal
I
government.
never saw
Oh, no, I
that.
think it's by age of house.
Okay.
It's possible.
And it
No,
also.
it goes to whether or not it's an unknown material classification.
Yes,
Whether they have
which,
it.
So if they already know what they're not gonna bother sending you a letter.
Yeah.
except they already know mine because I responded the first time they asked me.
Oh, well, that's it.
Well, they may not
But
take
is there a
it.
scenario in which a service line would have been run from the street just to a property line and stopped? And then later, they came in and
There's
ran
different
a
material.
second
I'm just saying
section
that's
of
what
service
this
line
letter
from
said.
the property line to the house. Usually, I feel like you tap in at the main, you run into the house. And
Yeah,
it's a
but
consistent.
right
that's
between
not what
the
this says.
main and it goes to your house is the meter box, which the town owns.
So there might have been different materials
Yeah.
running to the meter box and then from.
Yeah.
This,
And
the
that's
first.
above ground,
Well,
where it pops out for the meter,
access
right?
is, but that's how they can turn your water off without entering.
Because
Right,
you
but
gotta
then you
look at the
could get a
material,
look,
yeah.
so should you have taken pictures at the line coming into the meter box and then the line coming into your house?
Well, you can. All you see in a meter box is a little
No.
valve that you can turn.
I mean, and if you had a subdivision or something, there might also be,
This was first queried by them sometime before September 12th of 2024. And it was Matt Lanen, who, the water superintendent, is he still the water superintendent? Okay, so that's the guy who said, yep, George, that's copper. That was the extent of the communication, when I sent them a picture of my service.
And the other
as
thing that I
requested.
guess would be helpful is if you have bottles here and people can get their water tested for lead.
Tell them.
Right, that's a nice.
Well, they're finding out because we get multiples a week.
But I mean,
Multiples of people a week. I don't know how we communicated it. Because
Yeah, I
we don't-
wasn't aware
We don't
that you
regulate water, so, I don't,
You what?
we don't regulate
yeah, we don't
water.
Right, right.
So I don't know how we did it, because I
Who
don't,
runs them? Where do they go?
do a county lab.
County lab.
Yeah, we have a courier
Lab.
service on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're.
So yeah, it would have been good to say on this letter, you can
You
get
could
your water
also-
tested
Yeah.
for free.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
It's not free.
Because
Not
they
free.
suggest
For a cost.
doing it, but they don't say how. Because I'll bet you dollars to donuts, which used to be a good bet and now is probably roughly equal, that this is a federal government issued letter that they sent out.
Could be.
It's DEP.
TEP.
They got it from,
DEP is the regulatory authority for drinking water.
but we could add to it.
Okay, so thanks for bringing that up, George. Scott, any update from superintendent? A meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing?
I can do a follow-up. I sent an email out. I haven't talked to him,
Yeah, follow up would be good.
but I already took him up.
I move that if we follow up and don't get a response, we go to the select board.
Well, we don't have to because we have a joint meeting with them
All right. then we
in
add
a
it
couple
to
of
the
weeks. And
agenda.
it's also one of the topics they wanted to talk about.
Was it, I thought it was a topic I said we should talk about.
Oh, could be.
In that email, it was like, we had like 5 things we wanted to talk to them about.
Well, should we, what's the communication been with them on this joint meeting?
Mike asked me if I was going to do a joint meeting. I said, sure. I'll check with you guys. And he said yes, and that's the extent. So I need to send an email out to say, what's the agenda? Like, what's the specific?
Right, I remember now.
One of them was definitely going to be the fairness of the idea.
Right,
Right.
You mentioned that in that
The other
email.
thing. That's definitely one of the ones they want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't know to what other details, because there has been a lot of different things. Short-term rentals are up at town meeting, things of that nature. So I don't know exactly what their agenda is. They invited you guys for that.
So,
Oh,
should we make a,
find that out really soon and make a list of our.
of what we want to talk
Yeah,
about?
certainly can do that.
Well, that's, I put those in that email.
Yeah, you need to send some out. I don't know if you
When
sent it
did
out
you
to
send
me.
it?
I might have just emailed Scott and Kevin.
Yes.
And it was just a list of things we had emailed or sent a letter to the select board about recently, including the flow neutral bylaw. I think we said something about, we had the steamship authority issue. We sent a letter, the embarkation fee reallocation.
Me and,
He needs a list?
yeah.
Now we have Freshwater Pond.
Freshwater ponds.
All right, so what are these, okay, so flow neutral.
Let's put that one low on the list.
Yeah, not in any order.
I was just listing
Not
things
in
we
any order.
communicated about and, yeah.
Freshwater ponds,
Our
Yeah.
interaction with the drinking water superintendent.
okay, drinking water.
Well, it just, yeah, okay. Yep.
So drinking water superintendent, communication.
Department, let's say department.
Okay. Water department communication. What were the other ones?
The steamship authority embarkation fees situation.
Oh, and the
And the monitoring of
Of the-
idling and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, reallocating embarkation fee money to monitor idling.
Was there a determination that there were going to be no idling signs put up?
There must have been, because we got a complaint from somebody about where they said they were going to put them was not, in their opinion, a good idea. So there must have been something about that, new signage, but an actual person saying, turn your engine
Short-term
off.
rentals.
Short-term rentals, right?
A lot of studying.
What else? Nitrogen,
I get your email right here. Amy.
Oh, okay, was there anything else on there? I forgot.
Let me just reopen it, just.
Got a few emails in here from
Steamship, flow neutral bylaw approvals. Coordination between the water and board of health, and the formation of the committee, the equitable cost. And it should, yep, so you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
What's the date?
The 9th. Oh,
February.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought Kim meant the date of the email, so we.
No, the date of the meeting, February 9th.
A suggestion about which I'd like your opinions. I think but I have a conflict of interest about this because I'm going to get a sewer. When the water department sewers an entire chunk of the community, that they should also help coordinate things that individual homeowners are required to do, rather than have the head of the sewer department get up and 2 years ahead of time say, you should all get at least 3 bids now for the connection of your home to the sewer main, when no contractor is going to give you a bid 2 years ahead of time, and almost no contractors are going to call you back. And if they want 800 homeowners to, within 1 year, connect their houses to the sewer, I think it would be enormously helpful for the town to help the middle person with contractors who are incredibly hard to get.
No, that's,
We're
not on that agenda item, is what I'm trying to tell you.
No,
And
I'm
we
bringing
have-
this up as part of the, do we want to discuss this with, because we couldn't do it, to discuss it with the select board. And it was a question about whether that would be wise or not, and you probably are going to say it isn't, and that's fine. I don't mean you, you plural.
We probably don't want to spring anything new on them.
Okay.
That we haven't already communicated about.
Correct. So we have time for this if it's
Well, I
something
think
that's a
we-
long-term issue.
I think, have we already communicated this list of things to the select board?
We have sent letters to them on
No.
all of these topics.
No, but they're not going to remember.
Right.
They're not going to do that. So what we
Right.
need to do is send them
Correct.
a list of topics of interest to us.
Yeah.
They're going to have a list of topics of interest to them. And next Tuesday, the town manager will have a meeting with the chair of the select board to talk about the agenda.
Okay, so it's a good, this is good. So if you want, George, you could finish, George H., you could finish this letter, sign it on behalf of the rest of the board, and send it to me.
Okay.
And then I can send that letter, I can reattach our letter about fairness, and I can tell them we're looking forward to this meeting. Some of the items that are on our minds for potential agenda items are these. And if you agree or you have other items, please let us know. And that way you can compare a little bit better. That sound good? It's a good idea.
And you can put the flow neutral bylaw all the way to
In maybe dark gray for it.
You want that one at the top, don't you?
I'd like to delve a little bit too into the offset.
Is the concept
offset.
Offset.
for us
Well,
for the first
we read in the newspaper about the big development going on in Sandwich Road. And the town has currently accepted an offset cost of $750,000. I just don't know how that kind of stuff gets calculated. Well, the nitrogen offset stuff. You know, when a development, we have developments going in. We have one here tonight that we discussed that is going to be on the next one, the next meeting, they're going to dump new construction nitrogen into a watershed. And I kind of thought there was an idea that they should offset that or balance it out so that it's nitrogen neutral when you have a large development.
So,
Okay.
in terms of the
The process, I mean, the whole process of what we did with, if you like, in gray letters, which is what, you know, so how does, I mean, as we go forward, the Board of Health will be affected by how much sewer gets done. I mean, it will directly affect how many people we have to put in IA systems. Just as a board, just so we can go in good conscience, I'd like to know how the decisions get made for when large developments, which are way out of our purview, because that was 300 homes, and there's nitrogen going in there, which is going to ultimately affect how many people we have put IA systems in. How does that decision process go?
So my understanding, since I saw the letter from the DEP before Christmas, before comments, was that the DEP made a determination that they would allow a certain concentration, which they said at, I believe, 10 milligrams per liter, and a certain amount, just a certain kilograms of nitrogen. It was a DEP decision because it was more than 10,000 gallons per day. So it was, the mitigation fee is my understanding, which is my understanding, not necessarily complete, was part of the fact that there was a negotiation, a lawyer's negotiation, and an arbitration process that went in to that as well. So the money part, my understanding is the money part is not part of it.
Okay, as we're talking only about what we would like to talk to selectmen about.
Right.
I'd kind of like to know what the process is so that, you know, we'd know what's going on.
Flow neutral.
So,
is that what you're talking about?
Flow neutral and this offset cost, and when large developments beyond us get approved.
I did a back of the envelope calculation, which actually agreed with a calculation that was part of a package submitted to the Martha Vineyard Commission for a development of regional impact for the approximate cost of remediation of a kilogram of nitrogen over the course of 20 years, given that sort of the age of a septic system, if you wish.
Can I?
And so that's so there are calculations that you can do, and I'm happy. This is a public document Steve Rafferty sent to me. I'm happy to share it for information. It's in one of the appendices. But you know, we know what it costs to put in and operate an IA system over the course of 20 years. So you can and how much nitrogen comes from an average person or average household and so forth. And so that's a calculation that it's actually, like I said, I did it on my phone.
Can we get a motion to take new business and schedule future meetings out of order?
which we're doing now. Motion to move that.
Take it out of order, okay,
Yeah,
do we
take it
have
out
a
of
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. So go ahead, George.
So in terms of the mitigation with big developments,
Yeah,
it's my understanding that the Saxon, when they were because it was a 40B or whatever the regulation is for,
affordable housing.
yeah, affordable housing, when they were negotiating with the zoning board or whoever they were negotiating with in the town had a bunch of things they wanted them to do. And when the town added to that, making it a 0 additional nitrogen, which would have required them to bring in homes that weren't part of the development to
Great
0
idea,
it out.
right?
Yeah.
That was when the developer said, we're going to the state and saying you're being onerous, and then we're going to get to do what we want. And they went to the state, and the state said, yes, the town is being onerous. And so they increased the number of units by 25% or something, I forget. Maybe I have this story wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was at
See,
least
this is
reported in
why I
the
would like
newspaper.
to
Right.
have this discussion
So-
with the selectmen who should know how all of this works.
Right. So, I mean, it's what it is, it's.
Was that
it's
correct,
the-
what I said?
I don't know about the number of housing, but I do know that the planning board had wanted them to treat wastewater from abutting properties, which is against, certainly against our health regulations. It is.
You have to treat on
You have to
site.
treat on site.
Sorry, it's not against our regulations.
Isn't it, is it Title V or is it, it's in a
Well,
regulation?
see, it would-
The system has to be on the,
Yes, it does, but that's of course of a different color. You're under a groundwater discharge permit.
right. So there
So,
are
and
different
that
ways.
was exactly, by the way, what was done in Barnstable with one of the school systems that took a whole development and put it right into
So
this.
there are things that could be done under DEP and DEP. So one hand the DEP is doing something, on the other hand, doing something else.
Yeah,
So-
we're being onerous to a developer, and they're gonna be onerous to us
To all
when
the
it comes
individual
down.
homeowners.
When it comes right down to it. So,
Well, if it's
that's-
affordable housing, it's
Back to what we really were just talking about, I just would like some discussion of that, of how it goes, because it goes to the very heart of what we are going to end up having to deal with. And if I know, oh, okay, that's an open, transparent process, simple mathematical function, that's good. They offset by this, and it costs $750,000, which in municipal treatment, that wouldn't even get you off the drawing board. But if it's 750, I'd just like to know, just for my own, because we're going to be sitting in front of people almost every Monday, once this goes through, saying, yes, you will have to spend that extra $40,000, $50,000. I would like to be able to look them in the eye and say, the town is doing the best they can here to limit the cost of everything. We're gonna, whatever it comes out to sharing or whatever. And the new development in these critical watersheds has got a good oversight. I'd like to be able to look them in the eye and say that, because right now, I don't know what the process is.
So,
Not
George-
that I haven't looked, but it would be nice to talk to selectmen about it.
So George, would this capture an approach to decisions around offset costs when large new developments are approved and related flow neutral bylaw implementation?
And flow within the sewer area is approved. Like, wouldn't you like to know how that decision gets made? I mean, we saw that restaurant get so many extra seats, they couldn't put even enough for an office in a place, and it got approved. I mean, would you want the people to know, how did that decision made? The town fathers, on your behalf, decided a restaurant on Main Street should get that flow. How did they decide that?
arbitrary.
Well, if it's arbitrary, it could be arbitrary. It could be, you know, we need a vital Main Street. They proved that they could support so many extra staff. It's good for the economy. I'd love to know that that was where it was done. That's why I'd like to discuss it, because, you know, the more we give away, like we gave some away, we'll give some away tonight, a priori will get done upstairs. Would you, because every gallon given to inflow between
Right.
what's already served is a gallon can't be served.
Can't be served, right.
Right,
That we're gonna have to build something for.
right.
Just wanna know
So
how it
there
happens.
needs to be a cost per kilogram per well, in this case for sewer, it'd be per gallon, but that of capacity that is beyond the, beyond the annual sewer fee.
Yeah,
But is an actual accounting for the capital costs and the limits. So this gets into the cost account.
if it's even just a broad discussion, this is how we make those decisions, and look, they're town fathers, we vote them in. So, I mean, that's what they're there for. But I'd like to know that there was some deliberation when 2,000 gallons got given away on Main Street to somebody, and you say, okay, it's a restaurant, there's gonna be more people working there, and that's good, but was that the process that went through to figure that out? Or was it some other process we don't know about, which in my mind, for the town fathers, it should be at least transparent.
Well, I know they're looking for it.
Right.
That we need this capacity.
Because,
Right,
I mean,
that's 18 bedrooms.
Right.
But it's also, I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it seems different. Adding more seats in a restaurant doesn't necessarily make more wastewater, right? You gotta have more people arrive in town in order to fill those seats, in order to create more wastewater.
I think I disagree with that. As soon as you double the seats in a restaurant, you double that wastewater flow from each seat.
Yeah, but that means they didn't go somewhere else.
Right.
That's right.
So there's no net change, right? Unless somebody says, I'm gonna move to Falmouth because that restaurant has so many more seats, I really wanna go there a lot. Or they say, should we go to Martha's Vineyard or should we go to Falmouth for our vacation? They say, well, let's go to Falmouth, it's got a better downtown with more restaurants and seats or whatever. You know, if it doesn't draw new people to use our bathrooms here, then there's no real change.
It's the developments where we're housing more people that are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that there's no effect, I'm just saying it's complicated math. I don't know how to
Right.
Well,
figure that
I
out.
think to George's point, it'd be good to know how that works.
Yeah, or what the town ought to do going forward or something.
Is there a standard operating procedure? Is there something that says, if it doesn't go over by this much, and the person is proved they're gonna hire just local people here and whatever?
Well,
Just to see what the process is.
We have exhausted even Jim Walmart and his time, that's amazing.
Oh, wow. We did it!
What did you say?
We even exhausted your time. Like, everybody, you stick around long.
I don't know how long this is gonna go.
It could go on, but it's not gonna.
It's
One
very
more
exciting.
comment and then we're.
I just want to point out, the fundamental problem is the number of people and the population density on this little sandbar. There's no way around that. And I don't know how many hundred new units of housing have been added or are going to be added to Falmouth in the little moving average of the last couple of years, but it is hundreds. That's the fundamental problem, and all this other stuff is just window dressing about it, and nobody wants to talk about this. I brought it up here several times.
Well, what you're saying
makes
is
you a pariah to talk about. It's the number of people, period, people that you have to pay attention to, but that's not an addressable problem. So we're just, it's a losing battle.
But limiting housing then just exacerbates a different problem.
Well, it's the kind of housing, but nobody wants to change the kind of housing, and I'm not saying we should, but that's a fundamental problem, is that it's how much urine is generated is how many people there are, period. It's,
Well, in technology, but
well, not the generation part.
not the generation.
Good technology.
That would be
Yeah, technology will fix everything.
All right, so let's look at minutes.
Minutes were good.
The meeting I was here for, I didn't have anything to suggest.
Here's your summary, Ms. Rock. We were looking for that last time.
We found it in the minutes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no changes for 15.
Okay.
Does that mean a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the minutes for December 15th, 2025.
I feel like I looked at these ones before.
Yep. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes for January 5th.
Motion to approve the minutes for January 5th, 2026.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain, wasn't here.
Okay.
Aye. Sorry.
Did you vote, Amy? Sorry.
I did, I just
Okay.
did it super quiet.
Okay.
It's really laid back.
Yes,
All right. We have another motion.
Oh,
Motion
one
to
quick,
adjourn.
one quick thing, sorry.
No.
I resent you the email about this year's calendar. The great people at FCTV want a schedule out further than what we normally do. I just didn't get any response.
No, you did not.
So I just resent it to see if that kind of worked.
Yeah,
Because
I'll look at it.
our friends at FCTV want to be out a little bit further.
Kind of worked.
yeah, I mean, I looked
I
at
mean,
it
I
for.
can not tell where I'll be.
Exactly.
Yes, we all don't know where we're going to be in May. I'm hopefully
Even March.
elsewhere in life, but
Yeah.
hit the lottery.
Even that's good, a lot of.
So, okay, so I'm going to go with that schedule, if that's okay.
You're gonna go with it? Oh, you sent us.
Well, I got to send the gentleman over here
Oh, I
in this
didn't
room
see
something.
that. I
Because
didn't even see that.
he was calling me up screaming and swearing at me. But he was asking for a schedule, so we just have to
He
be out a
looks
little
pretty mean.
further.
As far as we know, it's fine.
Yeah.
This is as, you know, now.
How
You don't have to
difficult?
answer today, just email me when you get a chance. whether that's-
So if we set up the schedule, how difficult is it to change it?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not, it just needs a tentative
Makes it easier.
schedule.
Yeah.
I tried to stay off the select board schedule, but you can't do that all the time.
Can't do that all the time.
So I uncoupled it for the spring and summer, which is probably the time you actually go. Maybe. So I did the best I could.
May I request that for our next meeting, we not regenerate this giant?
Yes,
So-
good idea.
Please keep it, because it does cost us a lot of
Both
time.
marijuana,
Yes.
Yeah.
both things that.
So you will keep that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll keep
Roger
it.
that.
Perfect.
All right.
Got several months of.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Yeah, second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Whoa, so rapid.